We are making mantı, Turkish dumplings. Tiny handmade dumplings filled with spice, ground meat, boiled to perfection and served with a garlicky yogurt sauce and sizzling butter drizzle. This beloved dish is a labor of love with roots stretching across Anatolia. I'll show you the traditional way to prepare them, plus how to freeze and store them for later. Let's begin. I'm gonna use 2 eggs and 1 cup plus 1/4 of a cup water. Mix everything first and then add about 4 cups first all-purpose flour and about a teaspoon of salt, and knead everything either with stand mixer or by hand until you have a nice smooth playable dough. Add more flour if needed. The dough should be on the hard side. After it rests, it will soften, but to be able to shape it easily, turn it into mantas, we want a not soft dough but a playable on the hard side kind of dough. Depending on the size of your countertop, if you have a small one, you can turn the dough into 4 balls. I'm gonna do 3. You can cover with a dampened kitchen towel right into your countertop, but I'm gonna place it into a plate and then cover with stretch film and let it rest for at least half an hour until the dough will become soft and easier to roll out. Meanwhile, I'm gonna do the filling. I have about 300 grams ground beef, using 1 medium size, a little bit bigger onion. Grate the onion and discharge the buttery part, which will make the mixture soggy and hard to portion into our mantas. Squeeze a little bit and add the rest. You don't have to squeeze all the way, which could make it drier. I added about 1.5 teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon black pepper. It's up to you how spicy you want to make it. And half a teaspoon paprika, pul biber. I mixed everything by hand. If your ground beef doesn't have much fat, you can also drizzle some olive oil. Always it gives much more flavor when you add fat. I'm gonna show you 2 rolling pin, how to use them. The second one is new and you can, I believe, find it on the market. I'm gonna check and add the link for you if I find. So now let's shape the mantas. First, you can use as much as flour you need, but after it gets bigger, into about a 1-2 millimeter thickness, don't add much more flour because we want the surface to be able to stick when you close the mantas. So alternately, I use regular rolling pin and one that is a bit thinner, just to try, and it both works perfectly. So now I have nice roll out dough, I'm gonna cut them into squares. Here I forgot to take out the cover. I'm using pizza cutter here. Both works fine. You can use just sharp knife too. With the help of my finger, I just cut into 3 finger size thickness and then into squares. But in the second time, in the second batch, my daughter wanted to try it smaller, which is more like a traditional way. They say you have to put 40 pieces of mantı into 1 spoon, which is kind of much more harder, tinier to make. So with my daughter, we, while chatting, shaped our mantas. I'm gonna show you closely now how to close it. From the 2 sides, just fold like a rectangular and then fold again to meet in the middle. Just like so. Since I'm going to freeze the mantas, I placed a baking paper over my tray that can fit into the freezer, and then pop it to the freezer to freeze. And here is the second one, which my daughter cuts into smaller squares. We placed the closed mantas onto a baking tray that is lined with baking paper so they don't stick, and then put into the freezer to freeze until rock hard. Another option would be to bake them halfway so they dry and not gonna stick to each other, perfect to store again in the freezer. Okay, I'm gonna begin with the big ones to put into my container. Normally it's fine, but since we have 2 different sizes, I'm gonna separate them with the paper and then put the small ones. You can keep the frozen mantas up to 2-3 months for the best flavor and texture, or about 5-6 months, but the dough might start dry out or crack slightly when cooking. To cook frozen mantı, bring a pot of salted water to a gentle boil. Add the mantı straight from the freezer, no need to thaw. Stir gently to prevent sticking and cook until they rise to the surface and tender, about 10 to 12 minutes. Meanwhile, stir a cup of yogurt. You can add crushed garlic if you like, and keep ready on the side. For the butter paprika sauce, melt a butter in a saucepan, add chili flakes, pul biber, stir for 10 seconds, and it's ready to drizzle on top. I like my mantı a little bit saucy, so I drizzle the water that I cooked the mantas in, add the yogurt, and then drizzle the beautiful butter and pepper sauce. As a final touch, I sprinkled some dried mint and it's ready. It looks beautiful, homemade perfectly with love. Time to taste. Make sure to serve it as much as possible hot. That's the best, but I took some photos So it got cold a little bit, but still. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. One more. This could be one of my favorite dishes from Turkish cuisine all time. It also perfectly fits to our ancient root coming from Middle Asia. It is really delicious, my friends. Once you have it in the freezer, it's a ready food and still homemade, perfect. Give it a try. I appreciate your support just by giving thumbs up, sharing my content if you think it is useful so others can also see it. And I hope and pray that I can see you in the next video. Afiyet olsun. See you next time. Bye.